Hey folks, Doug Blake with Body Design University. In this video, I want to talk to you about deviation number 5, and that's going to be found in chapter 10. It is it's the last of the 5 deviations, these postural issues that people are generally going to face. And because you're doing assessments, now these are static postural assessments, and so you've gone through, I would hope, all of the 4 previous deviations. And the key to any of these, by the way, real simple, deviation number 5 is the easiest. It's like literally one little piece of information, but it's still critical to know. And before I start, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It's a good idea to hit that notification bell as well. This way you know when the new material and content is coming out. So appreciate that. So let's go ahead and continue and get started here. Deviation number 5, like all of the other postural deviations, are going to require that you essentially know the observation that you're looking at, which plane of view you're looking at the person from the side, i.e. the sagittal plane. Are you looking at them from the anterior, right, the front, which is frontal planar, or from the rear, which of course again is frontal planar, but you're looking at them posterior or anterior, sagittal from the side. And then of course the muscles that are suspected to be tight, okay, or the other term is shortened, overactive, hypertonic. And that's really probably the only issues you might face especially when it comes to the testing, which is that ACE will ask you and use these different terms. So you may want to write that down. Muscles suspected to be tight. So anytime a muscle is suspected to be tight, the other terms we use are shortened, overactive, or hypertonic. So there's basically 4 terms used for the same exact condition, which is that these muscles are receiving a higher level than normal of electrical stimulus from the nerves that are providing the motor neuron activity to it. And so in this case, deviation number 5 is head position. Like I say, all the deviations are going to essentially want you to know basically the same thing, and that's what we're talking about. In this case, on page 406, we are looking at table 10.9, obviously head position, and again, real straightforward with good posture, the earlobe. And that's why when you look at the picture they've given you, perfect shot, figure 10.17, alignment of the acromioclavicular joint. That's your AC joint. And by the way, anytime if they're using terms that you're not familiar with, just go ahead into the either the back of the book. You can Google it, right? The acromioclavicular joint, that is the AC joint. That's the guy right here, right? Acromium and clavicular. So the acromium process, right, is going to be located out in the shoulders, part of the scapula, and then the clavicle, right? The clavicle bone. So the acromioclavicular joint, that's the AC joint. That's the one that always gets separated. Football players have that. I had mine removed on the right side due to a lifting injury that I incurred many years ago. So they literally, because of the damage, they had to cut out. It probably was about, I think they said about 3/4 of the distal clavicle, and there are all the problems associated with that. But I'm fine. Thanks for asking. And in this case, when we're looking at head position, table 10.9. The earlobe should align approximately over the acromion process in the sagittal view. So remember, anytime you hear, ooh, sagittal view, you're just looking at them from the side. Remember, sagittal plane, remember the sagittal plane, right, bisects the body into a left and right half. So if you're looking at somebody from the side, you're seeing that, that side view, that, quote, half of the body. Either way, doesn't matter, left or right side. By convention, you'll want to do it the same, but again, it's not going to make much of a difference. And this is a class, just so you know, this issue with head position is a classic scenario. Please understand, deviations 1 through 5 don't occur like you see 1 and you don't see the other 4. No, in general, you see all of them in a sense. You'll see anterior pelvic tilting. You'll see that corresponding to the kyphotic curve or increased kyphosis in the thoracic spine, which will probably lead to this condition where we have this forward head tilt. So, but given the many awkward postures, repetitive motions of daily life, a forward head position is very common. Yeah, I mean, I've got to constantly, because you see, I'm looking at a computer screen and I'm sitting down, and the tendency is to sort of lounge forward. And in order to do that, this is the biomechanics of it are pretty straightforward too. You generally want to be looking forward. So your visual acuity and your visual field is always trying to stay sort of at a, in between area, not all the way down to the ground, obviously, and not all the way up. So your head normally finds a comfortable position, right, where your field of view is maintained, especially from up and down. Now, if for some reason I lean back, like I'll show you, if I lean back, what's going to happen? My head's not going to lean back. I'm not going to sit here all day and do this and talk to you like this, right? I am going to automatically adjust. And so what we're seeing with head position is a normal adjustment to maintain visual field acuity. That's all it is. I mean, the biomechanics is sound. Your head maintains this position, right? The visual field up and down is going to maintain the position. So no matter how your body moves, you're always going to try to maintain the visual field acuity. You're always going to try. If I lean back, I'm going to tuck my chin down. If I'm forward, I'm going to basically put my chin forward. I don't always necessarily arch my neck up. It makes more sense to move my head forward. And that's what this picture in figure 1017 is showing you. So this altered position does not tilt the head downward, meaning movement on the axis of the C5 cervical vertebrae, right? It doesn't do this necessarily. What it does do is, instead of just this movement up and down, it literally takes the chin and moves it forward. And that's what we see, and that's what you're seeing here. And that's what gives this appearance from the side of the ear, or the earlobe, being in front of the acromion process. And I will normally look at the front part of the shoulder and backwards. So front part of the shoulder behind the earlobe is a classic symptom, and I've seen it a whole lot worse than that. And the altered position does not tilt the head downward, but simply shifts it forward, not downward, but forward this way, so that the earlobe appears significantly forward of the AC joint. Again, typically, I'll look at the center of the shoulder, I'll look at the deltoid, and see if the ear is in line with that. And that means that the head needs to be back slightly. What helps with that, of course, is the lifting of the rib cage, so you can see where these other postural distortions start to come into play. If I've got kyphosis, like I said, in my thoracic spine, and that tilts me down, my rib cage is going to collapse forward. It's one of the reasons why when I'm training people, it's always the same mantra over and over: lift up your rib cage. Try it yourself as you're watching this. If you take your rib cage and lift it up, what automatically happens? You increase the lordotic curve in your lumbar spine, and generally your shoulder blades move back slightly. And many of these issues and problems are very, very subtle, but simply shifts it forward so that the earlobe appears significantly forward. A forward head position may represent tightness in the cervical extensors. What did I say tightness was? Tightness, shortened, hypertonic. These are the terms that will tell you. And where are the cervical extensors? Right? The cervical extensors, if they are tight, they are going to move the head forward. So cervical spine extensors, upper trapezius, and levator scapula are the muscles suspected to be tight. That is your job at this point. And of course, by the way, they say tightness and cervical extensors and lengthening or weakening, hypotonic. Generally, you're just not generally going to see those terms, but ACE will hit you with a question on this. Almost for sure. You'll get at least one question. You might get a question on a couple of these deviations, postural deviations. So head position, forward head position, cervical spine extensors are suspected to be tight, shortened, hypertonic, overactive, right? Upper trapezius, so that's that lifting, that elevation of the scapulae as well could be. And notice how it says muscles suspected. The chances are pretty good that's what's happening. And of course, the levator scapula, which is generally considered to be the primary elevator of the scapula itself. And of course, the upper trapezius, very strong, very powerful muscle. And that part of the trapezius system, right? The upper, middle, and lower. It's going to aid and assist. The levator scapula, of course, is a muscle. You can't really palpate it. It's really hard to palpate. I mean, I guess you could try it. Just don't do that on your friends and family. That muscle is generally considered to be the primary elevator, of course, because it has a direct line of pull between the skull, the cranium, and the scapulae itself. And so forward head position represents tightness. The extensors are tight. The flexors are lengthened or weakened, however you want to do that. And of course, plane of view is a sagittal. Again, deviation number 5 on page 406. That's about it. These are really important. All of them are really important pieces of information from chapter 10, the assessments, muscular training assessments chapter. Now, look, if this was helpful, and I hope it was, please let us know by putting a comment or at least writing the word understand in the comments section. As well, if you've got more that you would like to say or more that you wanted to hear me say in this particular video, sure, let me know. It's always helpful when we know that all of our previous videos, this one included, have been of a particular help to you. So that'd be very, very helpful. If you want access to the ACE exam study prep course that Body Design University offers, please click on the link below in the description box, and we will be more than happy to get you onboarded there. We have practice exams, quizzes. Every chapter has a video, has an audio textbook associated with it, Quizlet study sets. We run the gamut. We've got everything to help you to pass the ACE exam. So again, if you have any questions or any additional comments, please let us know. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.